Hello, and welcome everybody. This is a very, very special episode of Our Daily Magic, where we talk about rituals we can use to cultivate magic in our daily lives. Today we have a wonderful and special guest, Alison Reynoso. Alison, we've got so much to discuss, but let's start out with the basics. Let's talk
Yeah.
about who you are and what you do.
Well, thank you so much. This is my first time going Facebook Live, and I cannot even explain to you how grateful I am that I'm doing it with you. I get to do it with you. So thank you for inviting me.
My
So,
pleasure.
who am I? My name is Alison Reynoso, and I am a life coach for expansion. I am a woman, I am a mother, I am a healer, I am energy, I am love, I am life. Um, So when I talk about being a life coach for expansion, I'm talking about um, mainly just partnering with people. My goal is truly to show people to be able to own their own connection to themselves and to show them how to connect to source. And by source, I mean whatever you want to call it God, call it energy, call it the universe. So that is really my intention. I am all about promoting self love and again connection to yourself and connection to God and how to integrate those two so that you can live a more fulfilling life.
It's amazing. Amazing. So, how are you filling your time professionally these days? What are you being called to?
Uh, I have recently created what I call a women's circle for creative caregivers, for curious caregivers. Um, I've always wanted to do women's circle, more like a group coaching.
Hmm.
This is different than group coaching. I was inspired by a friend of mine who's a caregiver. We were having a conversation, and the topic of worth and value came up. And I was like,
Mm.
wait a minute. You mean to tell me you have to question whether you see your value and how much you're worth? And that,
Wow.
like would the light bulb just go on? And I was like, wait a minute, that's it. I created this women's circle specifically for caregivers who are so curious about
Mm.
and expanding their capacity to love, their capacity to enjoy their lives, their capacity for just inclusion, and specifically their capacity to see their caregiving in a more empowering kind of way. That's my intention.
Amazing. Amazing. So, what generally called you to the caregiving profession? Like, what is it about that lights your fire?
Um, Well, being a caregiver, it's the main inspiration for me to bring caregivers together in order to expand our lives overall. Um, I've been in public health for many, many years and working for about 10 years in end of life hospice settings.
Wow.
As a hospice volunteer, as an administrator, as a manager, as a supervisor of volunteers, and just having the experience of witnessing how the staff and even listening to how family members, caregivers are dealing with this huge, I want to call it challenging, but also a enriching experience when they're seeing a loved one who's dying or a loved one who needs their care.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it really inspired me to look within. And I've always have a really good facility to talk about death and dying. So not everybody is it's comfortable with that.
Mm-hmm.
So a combination of my own experiences as a professional, my experiences as a caregiver, and just joining those two together um, really inspired me to become a life coach. And the way I see it is like, I know what it's like to be a caregiver. I also know what it's like to see myself from different glasses, if you know what I mean, just
Yeah.
different perceptions. So I get to partner with people, in this case, partner with a group of women to come together so that they can learn how to see themselves and see their relationship to themselves, but also their relationship to caregiving.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. And you brought up some topics that are really interesting. You know, working with people towards the end of life spectrum, I bet it can be really difficult. Do you have like an enlightened perspective that we can take on that to, you know, kind of create a bit of ease when it comes to subjects like that?
Yeah. Um, so I was taking a program that required for me to do some volunteer work. And I chose to do it with hospice patients. And I will never forget, it was a Sunday afternoon. I went to make my visit in one of the nursing homes nearby. And the TV was on, and this woman, I mean, this individual was totally out of it. I mean, you could tell that she was agonizing, she was frustrated, she was just looking for something. And it wasn't something physical for what I can see. It was more like her mind was just like, she was just anxious. I didn't know what to do, so I panicked. I was like, oh my God, how can I fix it? How can I fix this situation for her? But mainly because I was uncomfortable with it. I was totally uncomfortable. And I recall just being there with her, holding her hand. I was speaking to her in Spanish. I was saying, todo va a estar bien, todo va a estar bien, no te preocupes, right? Just trying to fix it. And nothing, the more I was in her presence, the more nervous I was getting. I was uncomfortable where she was at. So I remember leaving. I spent the whole 2 hours there with her. And I remember leaving the nursing home. And I will never forget how I had this feeling of numbness as I was walking out of the nursing home. I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to discuss it. It was something that really touched my heart. So the next week I went back, and it was almost the same in terms of how she was. She was
Hmm.
getting anxious. She was very nervous. You can see that she was uncomfortable. But this time I was different. And this is what it's all about. Like, your perception, the way you see it is different. I decided to be with her, and I didn't have the need to fix anything.
Wow.
So I basically held her hand and I said to her, I'm just going to breathe with you. It's going to be okay. I turned off the TV, and I can literally just like feel I was breathing with her, and I can feel energy coming through my feet, through my body, and going to her and back and forth, sort of like a dance of energy going back and forth. The next thing you know, she got calm.
Wow.
I stayed with her this whole time, just holding her hand. And after 2 hours, I wish her well, and I just walked out. This time, the walking out of the nursing home was a totally different experience. I remember feeling so present.
Mm.
It was like almost like doing walking meditation.
Wow.
Now that was amazing to me. I became part of her. She became part of me.
Very cool.
Pretty neat. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing
Very
that.
cool. Yeah. I'll never forget it. Yeah.
I'd love to ask you if there are any other memorable challenges that you've had, you know, that you'd like to share, whether it's from your day to day, you know, or you know, from a past experience that is really contributing to the fact that you are caring so much for those who care for others.
Yeah. Um, well, I find myself, like so many caregivers, just focus on doing,
Mm-hmm.
in time becoming sort of an enemy, you know. Um, and in what when I'm so focused on simply doing, I forget about the being part of it. One of the the, um, the coaching training that I had a privilege to be a part of, really it focuses on goals. You know, coaching is all about goals and future oriented and partnership, but it also looks at who you're being about it.
Mm.
So when I am in my head and I am just focusing on my schedule, all I want to do is just doing things, creating things. But the question is, where am I creating from? So the biggest challenge for me is to remember who I am and to remember, who do I want to be about this? Not what do I want to do? I know that I want to do it, but who do I want to be about it? You know, especially as a caregiver where there's so many responsibilities, you know. And one of the things I experience when I'm not being focused and when I'm not being centered and when I'm not connecting to my inner being
Mm-hmm.
is that it all becomes about checking the boxes.
Mm.
And then feeling frustrated, exhausted, you know, mainly because of unmet expectations. You know, I wanted people to behave a certain way. I wanted to control situations, and it's impossible. So it's totally different when, in the beginning of my day, I claim who I want to be for the day. I have a lot of different tools, and one of the tools is to really be present to my body and present to my spirit and connect to that in the beginning of the day. And if I truly believe that I get to create who I want to be in my life, then do it from the beginning. You know, so for example, today my stand was yes. So Kai, when you asked me, oh, you know, you want to do this today or do you want to, I'm like, no, let's just do it. So again, it's like slow down, focus on who you're being about things, as opposed to just like, I need to get this thing done. And the experience is just totally different.
I bet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you mind giving another example of how you integrate these profound lessons into your daily routines? I know there's a lot of
Mm.
things that we may come across, in our day and picking up from other people, but it seems like you're really good at the integration part. Would you mind sharing more about your daily rituals and how
Yeah,
they came about?
definitely. Um, I'll give you an example. Yesterday was I went to visit my sister in PA and I had a lot to do, you know, running around. And I have this belief that everything happens for me, not to me. So
Hmm.
when I think about things happening for me, it's more like the universe is giving me all these gifts, all these opportunities, and I get to choose to say yes or no. And I get to choose who I want to be about, right? But yesterday, I was like, forget the universe. You know, I just got to get this thing done. I was so in my head. And then I thought about, well, if this is happening for me, show me. So I
Mm-hmm.
came out of Walmart with a big, you know, shopping cart and stuff. And and there I look up and the clouds. I mean, it was just like beautiful. The sky was totally clear, and the moon, you could see the moon. You could see the moon in a sunny day. That was a gift.
Wow.
So that to me was a reminder to be present to myself and to be present to my heart. You know. What else do I do? Usually, when I wake up, I have a set of rituals that I do. One of them is I like to hold. I don't know if you can see it. Uh, crystals.
Yeah.
So I hold on to a crystal that my guides basically call me to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on to my crystals. I am a Reiki master, uh, which is a healing technique. And so I do Reiki, self Reiki, plus do meditation. Lately, I've been incorporating some stretching just for my body. The type of person that I am, I tend, my automatic is to be in my head. So
Hmm.
I find that when I make an attempt to be in my body, I get so much more guidance and there's just so much more opportunity from that space. Um, so between Reiki and meditation, have a meditation practice. In the past, I used to say, I don't have time to meditate. I didn't know what I was talking about. When I didn't have a kid, I used to say that. I didn't really know what time was. You make the time. I make the time to meditate. And guess what? During the day, when my head is all over the place and I find myself reacting to people and circumstances, I go to the bathroom and I breathe. It's simply breathe. Just go within. Just a few minutes, you know? And it could be as simple as just putting my hands in my heart, just breathing in, just holding, breathing out. It makes a huge difference. So I do it as many times as I want to, you know. And at the end of the day, not forget the end of the day. At the end of the day, I basically complete with the day. Have this exercise would basically just write everything down, write down all of my accomplishments. And I also write down everything to do tomorrow. And the things that I have to do tomorrow, I just give it up to the universe. Here, you take it. I'll pick it up tomorrow. And I know my guardian angels and all of who I am is basically just waiting for me there. So I don't have to worry about that. When I don't get complete at night, it makes a huge difference for me.
Wow.
Because the minute I wake up, I'm just worried.
Mm-hmm.
Again, focusing on the doing of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, and let's not forget this.
Oh, please do tell.
Yes. I love using oracle cards. And my intention is also, it's a great help for me. It's totally a way for my guardian angels and to guide me. This particular deck, it's amazing. It really reads your vibe and it's just very clear. Sometimes when I have a question or when I feel confused, I just go to them. Sometimes I just need guidance on how is my day going to go. I go to the cards. And this is one of the tools that I plan to use in my women's circle.
Excellent. Wow. I know it is on the fly, but would you be willing to choose an oracle card for all of us listening?
Absolutely. So let's see. So if we truly believe that we are all part of one, let's see what the cards have to say about all of us. Look, and this is what it does. It just jumps.
Decide. Yeah.
Decide. So, you know, Kai, if there's anything you need to decide, and the audience, if there's something that they need to make a decision about, then, you know, just see your options and decide.
What a great prompt.
Yeah. And the lovely thing about it is that it's not just about you, it's about your contribution to humanity.
Mm.
And that's the way I see it. Like, I need to make decisions, and the decisions, they'll all have consequences, good or bad. I don't even want to make it a good or bad label because that's just a judgment, you know. But every decision has consequences. And one of the things that I'm incorporating and learning more and more and more is that it's not just about me. Actually, it's not about me. So my decision to become a life coach for the betterment of all, you know, when I focus on my clients and when I'm focusing on the women that I'm just so looking forward to partner with,
Yes.
it's about them and it's about us, for sure.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
So, I heard that your upcoming women's circle is really getting a lot of traction. Is it true that you were on BronxNet TV earlier on
I
this week
was
or last week?
last week on the 11th. Yeah, that was very exciting. They were pretty laid back,
Yeah,
but at the same time, very professional, which I love.
excellent.
They were real, and even the questions that they asked me really helped me see myself more clearly.
Hmm.
And it helped me see what it is, my intention, and what I want to create with this women's circle. It was great, a great experience.
We started off this conversation talking about being able to perceive one's value. How does that help you understand the immense value that this type of event and program that you're hosting has on our world?
Um, well, if we start with the individual,
Hmm.
like if you value yourself and you acknowledge yourself and you really see the impact that you have in other people,
Hmm.
especially when you're caring for someone else, and when you see that you are valuable yourself just for being here,
Yes.
right? So if we all took that perspective and took it seriously, I'm not talking about just from your head, but truly from your heart, like with integrity, connecting all of it, the world would be just a different place. There will be more love. There will be more compassion. You ask me. There will be more talking about death and dying. It's real. It's going to happen. Might as well just talk about it.
True. Very
So
true.
I think it will just be more, yeah, more compassion, more love, more creation, less judgment, less competition, more abundance. Or I should say more, um, yeah, just more, just knowing that abundance is already here. Now that it's going to happen. Only if I made this amount of money, then that would categorize me as being abundant. No, not at all. So one of the things that I do my best to incorporate in my day is to write a gratitude journal,
Hmm.
and that really helps me be in touch with abundance. So yeah, and that's what we're
Amazing.
working towards, anyways. Like all of us, people who are awakened, that's we all working as a collective together. So the more people who can see themselves and see humanity in a different way, then the further we'll go. There's always going to be contrast, right?
Right.
Not for me, but overall, again, for humanity.
That's so important. Excellent. Okay, so would you like to tell us the details and the specifics about this wonderful event? What is it called? Where is it being held? And what are the dates? How can we sign up?
Oh, that's great. So the Women's Circle is called a Women's Circle for Curious Caregivers.
Hmm.
And it's going to be a combination of mindfulness practice. There's going to be some coaching related. There's going to be some writing exercises. There's going to be different tools that will be within, depending on the group and depending on what they need. It will be 5 weeks live in person. Location is in Manhattan. All I
Hmm.
can tell you right now is Upper West Side, the 80s.
Perfect.
It's going to be from April 9th to May 7th,
Hmm.
5 Tuesdays from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And in addition to that, all the participants will get 2 individual coaching sessions with me, one in the
Wow.
beginning, so that we can talk about like why are you here? Why are you investing on yourself?
Yeah.
What is this about for you? So they can have a clear picture. And then the other session will be at the end. Okay, so you went through this. What did you get out of it? What do you have to acknowledge yourself for? And now what? Just going forward, going further that. Um, so yeah, you can sign up. My website is freshaircoach.com, and it's fresh air, AER, coach.com, or you can check out the event on Facebook. All the information is in there. My email address is freshaircoach@gmail.com. Just don't forget, it's not air, it's AER, and it's really my initials. Yeah.
That's so clever.
Yeah. Kind of cool, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
I love it. Yeah.
excellent. I mean, you shared a lot of really amazing wisdom with us today. Do you have any parting words of advice for those that are here joining us?
Hmm, what do I have to say? Connect to yourself. Just connect to yourself, whatever that means to you. Some people is through prayer, some people is through meditation, some people is through nature, just walking in nature. Whatever is going to help you connect to yourself. And remember, you're not alone. Yeah, remember that no matter what, God, the universe, source is always with you. It's not just out there, it's inside of you. So just tap into that. Just tap into that and just listen and see what happens. Yeah,
Excellent.
thank you.
What a pleasure and an honor to be here with you, Allison. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'd like to thank everyone who is joining in on the live stream and anyone who is listening to this at any point in time. Your presence is always appreciated. So thank you so much for joining Allison and I here on Our Daily Magic. And we will, of course, make this a regular event. So. Thank you.
Thank you.
And yeah, take care, everyone.
Bye.